Action.
Good morning, race fans. It is another beautiful day out there in the racing world, and we're coming at you with another episode of the Announcer Booth Podcast presented by Rapid Graphics. Scotty Tuhati and Evan Pornprey here with you.
How's it going this morning?
It's going good. How about you, man?
Oh, it's going great.
What do we got on the show today?
Today we're going to be talking about motivation along with interviews from Robby, Blundell, and Mckee.
Going to be a great day here on the episode, as well as the 4-Hour Salvage question of the week. All that and more coming up next on the Announcer Booth Podcast presented by Rapid Graphics. And another happy Wednesday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Announcers Booth Podcast presented by Rapid Graphics. And, the sun is shining. It's going to be a great day. We're halfway through the work week, Evan.
We are almost there.
It's almost Friday. It's almost the weekend. If only we were going racing.
That would be better.
It would be better, but hey, that's why we're here.
And it's off season.
Yeah, it's off season, but that's why we're here to entertain everyone out there in the racing community, in the racing world, in the off season.
Absolutely.
Gives them something to listen to in the shop, working on the car, getting ready for, the 2022 season. And, we've got a great show lined up today as well. Some awesome guests, a topic. We got a question of the day, which ties into the topic that we're talking about. And, yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Going to be fun indeed. So we are also, per this recording, live on Facebook right now. So for those of you tuned in, thank you for tuning in. And to you, the race fans, thank you for tuning in each and every week. You guys are awesome. We've checked the statistics of the podcast here, and we're almost to 100. At least per this recording, we're almost to 100.
Heck yeah. I do have to say, quick, if there is any background noise, I'm sorry. My 3 kids are here with us while we were recording this. So I apologize now.
So we're getting entertainment at the same time as you, ladies and gentlemen, are getting entertainment as well. So, let's get on with the show, man. We've got some great things to cover today. And the topic of discussion today, motivation. What motivates you just to climb in the car week after week? And or what motivates you, like the question of the day that we'll hear later on, is what motivates you after a bad night at the racetrack or having a bad wreck? So, Evan, what motivates you, man?
My kids.
Absolutely. That is one of the biggest motivators because, as we've said before, the future generation of this sport. And it's always good to have, be like a role model for the kids. And I don't know. We'll go as far as say a hero as well.
We could go that far to say hero. Yeah,
yes.
That's what keeps pushing me every week, every year. Because without my 3 kids pushing me, I probably wouldn't be doing it.
Absolutely. I mean, it gets frustrating as you'll hear from a couple of our guests today, Mckee and Robby Blundell, as we talk to them later on. But, motivation, though, it's hard to come by sometimes, especially when you've had, things go wrong or, just a bad night of the track, bad wreck, or even just so many things pile up. But just to find the motivation to keep trying week after week, and like we'll hear from Robby later, it's all about having fun.
It is about having fun. And nothing feels better than getting that monkey off your back and having a great night.
And there's really nothing, no other feeling than being behind the wheel no matter what track you're at. Is just the adrenaline rush, which is also, I guess, would be a motivator. And just the friends and family that surround you, including the racing family, that want to see you out there on the track week after week.
Absolutely.
And it's an awesome thing. And, I mean, it's... there were some times that, I was like, what, I just don't want to do this anymore. But you get to talking to some of the fans and you get to talking, some of the other drivers, and it seems to be like, everyone says, dude, don't quit. You've been chasing this dream for a long time. Keep going. And, you're going to like the outcome in the end.
Oh, absolutely. For me personally, I've tried to walk away 3 or 4 different times.
Right.
Just, hang up the helmet, spend time with my kids. And each year, my oldest son goes, Dad, where's your race car?
Yep.
Are we racing this year? Well, yeah, I guess we are.
And I had to hang up the helmet, unfortunately, but, due to other reasons, though, for medical and financial reasons. But, I was trying to find a way to still be involved with the racing community, and I picked up a microphone, and the rest has been history ever since.
You're doing a pretty good job at it.
Announcing at a few different racetracks, and with the season ending just under 100 nights, 12 different racetracks in 4 different states. Yeah, it was a busy season, I will say that, but I had a lot of fun. And then, just doing this, the podcast, and doing this with you, man, and just it gives me the motivation to keep on keeping on and sharing the stories with, our local racing scene in the, the Quad State region, and sharing it with the rest of the world. So with that being said, motivation, like we said, is a topic of discussion today. We are going to get into the 4 Orange Salvage question of the week right after this break, and we are going to hear from 4 Orange Salvage. Stay tuned.
Evicted tenants leave a mess behind? Have an old appliance that you're tired of staring at? Yard waste, branches, carpet, old furniture, other discarded items you just want gone? Well, 4 Orange Salvage can take it all away. Call Jamie at 605-376-8532 for a quote today, or you can find him on Facebook by searching 4 Orange Salvage-Junk Haulers. Contractless payment through Venmo or PayPal is also available. Quick, easy, and affordable junk hauling. 4 Orange Salvage. We pick things up and we take them away. Serving Sioux Falls, South Dakota and surrounding areas.
And welcome back to the Announcer Booth Podcast presented by Rapid Graphics. And yes, 4 Orange Salvage, cannot say enough about Jamie and the 4 Orange Salvage crew. Some great people there. And if you need anything picked up or taken away, I should say, Jamie is the guy to call. Also, he's got the... if I pronounce this correctly, the Purple Rat Pack Thrift Shop over there in Lenox, South Dakota. Go check that out on Facebook as well for the hours and everything else involved with there. So Jamie doing an awesome job, and not only for the racing community, but the cars that he sponsors as well. So that's going to bring us to the question of the week, and our question was, what motivates you after a bad night at the racetrack or a bad wreck? And we've got some things on Facebook here. Evan, what do we got on Facebook?
We'll start with Phil Mckee. My kids and wife tell me not to get angry about it, fix it, and go again.
Fix it and go again, indeed. Aaron Kane here. Basically the same thing, says, my kids, my wife, my friends. I like learning new setups and new things on the cars and always trying to learn. Nothing wrong with that, indeed.
Oh, we got Tim Pritchett Jr., friends and family, and a drive that keeps me pushing on.
And Robby Blundell, you'll actually hear from him later on as we ask him the question. And he says, all the race fans, Steve Corelli and his family at the new Raceway Park, my friends, and just realizing that I'm doing something that not everybody gets a chance to do. So win or lose or go home broke, I'm just lucky to be able to do it at all.
We got Cody Bunwell. I hope I pronounced that
Bulware.
right.
Cody Bulware.
Sorry. I apologize. My family, the family roots run deep in racing, and I just want to make them proud. And my kids are proud of me no matter what, or no matter where I finish. Plus, it's in my blood. Can't walk away now.
Absolutely. Definitely hard to walk away from a sport we all know and love and have grown up with. We're going to go over to TikTok now, and we have... Fink Racing says that my home-built chassis is tougher than a professionally built one. So
that would keep me motivated.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We have a couple other ones here. Pull these up. Evan, I know you've got one on TikTok.
Let me pull that up.
Somewhere. We got another one here that says Rebel Racing 38S, family and good friends, hashtag redneck racing. And Evan's got our final question here, or answer, I should say.
Levinson? I'm pretty sure I just murdered that. But I love the sport, and I get to put in the time to make my car better and try harder to win the next week.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about too. And that's the motivation from everyone. Basically, is when you got the friends and the family behind you, and the businesses that you're advertising for that put in the money, then yes, that is definitely a great motivation. Be sure to look at our social medias there for the question of the week that we will be posted here later on. Be sure you can follow us on TikTok Just search the Announcers Booth Podcast and give us a follow over there. Also on Facebook, search the Announcers Booth Podcast. We'll be posting there as well as Instagram. That would be my personal, but we'll just do with Facebook and TikTok for now. So go and give us a follow. Greatly appreciate the support. We're going to take another quick break and hear from our title advertiser and Rapid Graphics. And just on the other side of the break, we're going to catch up with Robby Blundell and then hear from the Sodak iRacing Series and Phil Mckee. Stay tuned.
Rapid Graphics, located in Rock Rapids, Iowa, on the corner of Highway 9 and 75, specialize in graphics and signage of all types. They specialize in indoor and outdoor signage, banners, commercial vehicles, custom logos, race car graphics, and much, much more. Rapid Graphics have the tools to get your job done, and you can find them easily on Facebook at Rapid Graphics 12. For more information, contact Rapid Graphics for all of your custom graphic and signage needs today.
And once again, Rapid Graphics out of Rock Rapids, Iowa. They're right on the corner of Highway 9 and 75, like you heard. Blake produces some great stuff. He's got it all. He does great race car wraps, decals. He's even done canvas prints. He can do just about everything. Table runners, banners. He does it all. And definitely a supporter of dirt track racing up there. So, Evan, our first guest here, Robby Blundell. This guy is, I don't even know the perfect word to describe him.
A perfect person to look up to.
Yes. A perfect person to look up to, role model-wise.
There you go, role model-wise.
Yeah. And just an overall guy who, you talk about motivation. This guy...
He don't give up.
No, he don't give up. He is the definition of motivated and of what dirt track racing is and what the sport is. So you're going to hear some crazy stories about this guy, what happened this year, his first full season of dirt track racing. And Robby, I know you're listening to this. The first story that you told, you had me and Evan. We were muted, but. Well, we were laughing.
Rolling.
We were laughing all the way with it, and it's really awesome. So, without further ado, here is the interview with the 007, Robby Blundell. It's coming into the announce booth now here on the Announcers Booth Podcast. A driver just completed first season of racing over in the Sioux City area at the new Raceway Park. And Evan, I know you've heard stories about this guy. You've seen some stuff on Facebook. He's got crazy motivation. He's got a couple crazy stories, and he's got a crazy number at that.
Yeah, he really does. Kind of excited to talk to him and get some of these stories.
Absolutely. That would be none other than Robby Blundell from Whiting, Iowa, the Robby stock, as he has been nicknamed. Robby, thanks for coming on the show, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely glad to do an interview with you guys, and maybe that'll kind of, what the fans didn't get a chance to meet, if they're listening in or something, maybe they'll kind of learn a little something about me and who the Robby stock is.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. And so we said some crazy stories, crazy number. Let's just get it all out in the open. Robby, I know this was your first season. You did a few races before in 2019, as you mentioned before we went on the air here. I got to ask, though, how did you get into it, and how did you come up with that great 007 number?
Okay, so that's kind of a loaded story, and I'll try to keep it as short as I can. But
all right.
Some of you guys know, some of you probably don't, for all the fans listening on your podcast here, I actually started off racing in motocross. And how the whole 007 thing came to be is I used to be number 7 in motocross, and it was just 7, no zeros or anything like that. And actually, the first motocross race that I ever did, I was like, man, I got to do something to cut the tension around here. So I actually went to Goodwill and bought a tuxedo and put it on over my race gear that we wore in motocross, like, your chest protector, jerseys, and all that.
Right.
So I actually raced in a tuxedo, and the announcer there, he said something about, I'm not sure if that guy's wearing a suit coat or what, but it looks like James Bond just joined the race. I'm like, why don't I just do 007? And it just kind of always followed me, because I graduated high school in 07 is where I was supposed to. I actually went a year early, but I was originally class of '07. My first uniform number when I worked at a dealership, it was 007 and then some digits after that. Oh man, I just need to live with this. This is just cool. And then I started, after that, I talked to Tim Smith. I don't know if some of you guys know who that is or not, but he used to race modified and stock car. And I don't remember how long it's been since he's raced, but he said something about maybe you want to try some car racing, because that's what I really wanted to do. I just never really could afford it or anything like that. So I started making a little bit of money where I could do that. And then he's like, well, let's go find you a car and stuff. And I think you want to do a hobby stock. And we looked at a couple, and I actually bought Nick DeMara's old cars where that car originally came from. And it was 19N at that time. So that's kind of how I got started into it, and kind of how the 007 came to be. So I just kind of transferred it over to the car side when I quit motocross.
So going from 2 wheels into 4 wheels, I know that had to be a big change for you, but it's been a little bit of a up and down though in the car though, literally
up and down.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you're one of the drivers that I've seen, has had bad luck, but always has a smile on their face and just says, we're going to come back bigger and better. This goes into the question of the day here, Evan. So what motivates you after, a bad night or a bad wreck at the racetrack?
So what it is for me is I kind of trying to word this how it makes sense. For me, I guess I'm just doing it for fun, and if I get in a bad wreck or something like that, or some real bad breaks on the car, you kind of got to know what you signed up for, and I do. And I think for me what it is it's racing cars, like for us, like you guys and the fans and stuff, like it's not all that weird to us, but I never really realized it till I started talking to some of my other friends. I mean, some of them have never even seen inside of a race car or nothing. So I'm just lucky that I have a shop that my dad lets me use to work on the car and all that kind of thing. I'm pretty lucky to be able to do it at all. So to get really upset and mad about it, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's irritating for sure when you smash up your car or whatever, but it's just like, you know what, it's kind of part of the whole deal, and I'm just really, really lucky to even be able to try it and have bad luck, where most people, they can't do it at all because you either don't have the means to do it or a place to work on it or anything. So I guess for me, that's kind of what keeps me motivated is, sometimes I want to get kind of a hot head, like, when the car is broken, but it's just like, you might want to step back and think, you're lucky you're doing this at all, So I guess that's my answer to that question there.
Absolutely. And I mean, and the track that you've been racing at, the new Raceway Park, there's a lot of tough competition, especially in the hobby stock class. So how did you really approach, the first time racing there, and especially with this class, how did you really approach it and say, okay, this is what I got to do to run with these guys?
Well, normally what I did is before I even started my first race of 2021, I ended up actually becoming friends with Andy Hoffman and Jeremy Ertman. And
that's a good choice.
Yeah. So I just talked to them and said, hey guys, I'm just getting started, and I kind of have a racing background with motocross. And I know kind of some of the unwritten rules for that you do. I said, what should I do as a rookie? Because, I'm going to screw up, and I don't really want to wipe out a bunch of cars, because then you're getting a bad reputation. So I asked both of them guys and stuff. I said, what's your biggest thing that you just hate that rookies do? And they said, basically what really makes a lot of drivers upset is if you somehow it works out in the points or something, you start in the front, maybe you make a mistake, maybe you're holding your own, and you zig where you should have zagged, and you spin out in the front. Now you just caused a whole tornado and knocked out 10 cars, where if you always start in the back, you have to fight your way through all that stuff. And then hopefully if you spin out, you're not going to wipe out near as many cars because you're in the back. So, yeah, that's kind of what that is.
Yeah, and Evan, you and I have both have run hobby stock before too, so we kind of know, going in, kind of what to do, kind of what not to do, but it's always, I think, better to start in the back, though, especially if you're in a new car, even if you've been in the class for a while. Just every car handles different, every car, drives different, so just really get a feel for the car is, I think, the better way to go.
I should have done that more.
I should have too, honestly. I should have too.
But yeah, that's kind of spinning off of that question a little bit more, I guess. I've had really good, I guess you could even call them driving coaches, just it's kind of a lot to take in. It's similar to motocross, but you got 4 wheels and, they said throttle control's huge, smooth as fast, don't try to light the world on fire when you get out there, and I've just tried to follow it as well as I could. Sometimes it worked out pretty well, sometimes it didn't, and I kind of like their honesty. If you do something that they're like, dude, come on, you do know a little bit better than that one, don't you?
Right.
So they're still motivating, but they'll be honest with you. Not, if you're doing terrible, they're not gonna just, oh no, you're all right. They'll be like, nah, you really need to work on this part or this part. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
And you talk about lighting the world on fire. Well, you kind of did that the last race of the season that you had out there, and some of those crazy stories we were talking about at the beginning of this interview. And it's the first that I've seen. I don't know about you, Evan, but as far as we know, the first hobby stock, let me rephrase that, the first Robby stock to do a handstand. So walk us through what happened there. If you guys haven't seen this clip on Facebook, I'll share it later on again once. So just from a fan perspective, I didn't see it happen. I only saw the replay. Coming into turn 3, something happened, and the car basically did a handstand, or in this case a nose stand, straight up in the air. You came back down on all your wheels, but man, that had been quite a ride.
Well, it was kind of crazy. I always kind of hate to say this because it sounds like I'm trying to be a big, bad, tough guy, but really, honestly, stuff like that is pretty mild compared to what I'm used to in motocross. I mean, if that same situation would have happened in motocross, I probably would still be in the hospital. But, it's definitely a white knuckle thing, but I've always had that. That's always transferred over from motocross because that sport is so intense and so crazy, and you're always on the edge of getting super hurt or even just finishing the race, to where it kind of keeps my head cool when I'm in the car. So a lot of stuff that would freak out normal rookies, it doesn't really seem to affect my mental state that much.
Gotcha. And you did it in style too, I have to say. And just what got me was climbing out of the car, unscathed, smile on your face, and you took a bow for the crowd.
Oh yeah, you got to have fun with it because, your top level guys. I think sometimes when you get to that high of a level, you might almost kind of forget, why did you even start racing anyway? Because at some point in time, whether you're driving modifieds or what you're driving, you had to want to do it because it was fun, I think.
And that's I've said it before too, and Evan, I know you've said this too. That's the number one rule in racing is have fun.
Yeah, and I always didn't want to get away from that. When it's not fun, I don't want to do it no more.
Absolutely. So what's the racing scene looking like for next year in 2022? Are we going to see the Robby stock back out in a hobby stock, or bigger and better, or what do we have planned for next year?
Well, I can tell you that. Or did you want me to kind of walk you guys through how that handstand happened?
Well, yeah, walk us through how the handstand happened, and then walk us into what the plan is for next year.
Okay, so how it happened, at least, it did happen pretty fast, but I can kind of walk you guys through what it was. But as I remember it, we were doing hobby stock meat feature. It started in the back, and the way I remember it is I spun out. Didn't really hit the wall or anything, just kind of, got out of shape and, I spun out. So I looked across the track, and I'm good friends with Tony Fetterman, and I saw his car about half the track away, and I knew he was the leader because that's where he started at. So I thought, well, I've always kind of wanted to try diamond cut in a corner, and I'm not going to hit any cars because they're too far away, and I really want to catch up to the back of the pack again. So I'm going to try some crazy stuff a little bit. And I always kind of like to watch Jason Ward, which I kind of learned later on that you don't really want to try to copy stock car moves in a hobby stock, but I did. So I tried to come up the corner like he does and then diamond off and try to exit into the low side of the track. I tried it once just before the corner where I did the handstand.
Right.
And it was out of shape and it was out of control. I had no control over it, I'll be honest. That was a driving style or a technique that I just don't have yet. So I thought, man, I'm going to try it one more time, and then after that, I'm just going to try to just make it to the back of the pack and, just see what I can do there. So I charged the wall harder because I was going to try to throw it in and then diamond cut, which did not work, as you can see off the video. So the way that I think that whole car situation happened is I have those MD3 tubular bumpers.
Right.
So when I kind of hit the corner of the wall, I think it shoved one of those tubes into one of my tires, and it blew the tire. So the car instantly dropped. And then it looks like it blew the other tire too. So the bumper got shoved into the tires, blew those, plus the momentum of going up to the wall. Everything just kind of was in a perfect balance to where it just lifted the car. And I think that's how that all happened. So,
man, and just to, like I said, come back down on your wheels after doing that, you were like full.
You were straight up and down, weren't you? Pretty much.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember holding the steering wheel and I was kind of holding myself into the seat other than the seat belts. I don't have them like ridiculous tight, but they're definitely tight. And yeah, I can remember them over race Evers saying, red flag, like I was saying before. And when it started to come on its way down, that's all I could think of is, man, I hope them springs are in there. Because hobby stocks, at least mine, when you lift up the car, the springs, they're not tight at all. You can just grab them and pull them right out. And that's
right.
Just kind of the way it is, I think, But, yeah, I thought they'd be gone. So
yeah, and luckily they were still in there.
Yeah, I mean, it helped a little bit, but they didn't appreciate it because we took the springs out just to look at them. They're all leaning over to the side. But I suppose I would too if I had a car laying on me like that.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I mean, it's like I say, you didn't make the show, but you definitely were the show that night. And I mean, we're glad to see that you're okay. And man,
yeah.
I just have a feeling next year's going to be a little crazier.
Well, I hope so. I'm definitely having fun, even though I've had some mishaps like that, and I've had harder beginner's luck, but that's all right. This is part of it. But yeah, it was just really cool, the reception I got from the fans and everything. Like Steve Crowley and his family making the most dramatic hobby stock wreck trophy. I mean, that was really cool. Kind of made a bad situation just a little bit better. Then,
absolutely.
it's crazy the fan base that I have already, and I really haven't done anything exceptionally spectacular, as far as how you finish or, I'm not driving the wheels off the car or anything, but they just seem to really like that, stuff like that happens, and it's just cool to watch.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said earlier too, it's like you're like one of the first drivers I've ever met where, something happens, you climb out of the car and 5 minutes later, it's like, you know what? Hey, we had fun. I mean, we're going to get things fixed and we're going to come back next week even bigger and better. And I love that motivation in drivers, especially after a bad night. And I got to say, man, you're right at the top of that list when it comes to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, like even when I lost the axle, I'm sure everybody remembers that.
Yep.
It was me, Justin Freilich lost one, and Tyler Smith, he lost one too. It must just be something that happens in hobby stock. That's kind of a newer thing for me, is figuring out where your heavier maintenance needs to be and where items like that. But I thought maybe I was just doing a lack of maintenance on that deal. But, it does happen to hobby stocks, I guess, because it happened to those two guys. And, it's like I have the means to fix it. I have ways to fix it. And it's just like I was out there just trying to have a good time. And that's really all it's for, man. I mean, yeah, it sucks when your car breaks. I'm not happy about it by any means. But I just love the mayhem and the carnage of dirt track racing. It's just, even when it breaks, it's like, oh, that was so intense, so cool, and that axle came flying out and it smacked the sign on the track. I mean, just trying to drive through that and out of it, dirt flying everywhere, it's just, oh, man, it's just a passion. You guys got to know that. You drove before.
Yeah,
awesome,
there's really no other feeling like it, and just with the adrenaline rush, there's nothing like it. I mean, some people get it through video games or whatever, but there honestly is no other adrenaline rush like dirt track racing.
And I thought I was an adrenaline junkie.
So did I.
Talking to him, I ain't even close.
Absolutely not, man. That's just crazy. But I commend you for your motivation all through this. So what's next year looking like, Robby? I know you told us a few crazy things before we went on air here. So what can we expect next year from the 007?
Well, so I guess throughout the winter time, I got my car up at Ultralight, the one that I got the handstand with, and it's hurt, obviously. I mean, you can't really not hurt it. So Mike Cooper up there is kind of getting together some parts, and we're going to probably end up stubbing that. I think it's going over to a different shop. I forget where he says. But that car, as far as I know, is probably going to be back on the track. I'd like to get a new body for it and stuff, but oddly enough, I ended up picking up two other hobby stocks that are just rollers, and I'm kind of getting some ideas with them. I think I like mine a little bit better than these two, but I think I'm going to have a couple of race cars to pick from next year if things go the way that I want them to. I'll probably be selling a few of these hobbies to help pay for mine. So that's part of what I'm going to do. I'm almost kind of kicking around about, I kind of got motivation from Craig Clift. It seemed like he's always got a different race car and stuff. And I'm like, man, seems like he's having all the fun. He's doing well, and you're trading race cars like playing cards. You get one, fix one up, race it a little bit, sell it. So I kind of want to try something like that a little bit. I've never met Craig or anything, but it seems like he has a pretty good time, and he busts his butt at Raceway, watering the track and doing the maintenance with Steve and his crew. And so, yeah, I might have some used hobby stocks for sale next year. That's part of the plan. I do have kind of a little special surprise for all the fans. It's going to kind of, I guess the way to say it would be, complete the whole 007 aura. So you guys kind of take that for what it is. But it's going to be, I think, pretty enjoyable for everybody. Had lots of requests for T-shirts. As you guys all know, T-shirts do cost quite a bit to do. I mean, depending on how many you're doing and where you go and all that. But kind of looking at maybe some T-shirt designs. I get a lot of call for car stickers. So I think the only thing to do with car stickers for me is we're just going to have to take a picture of the car on its nose, and there you go. And then we'll just be Notorious, Robby Stock, Insane. So that's another part. I'd kind of like to branch out to a couple other tracks again. It just never seemed to work out. I wanted to try Denison, but I work at a repair shop, and Fridays are about impossible for me to go racing at. Definitely going to stick with Raceway Park for sure. That track and Steve and his crew and family and like you guys and stuff have supported me so well. I don't really even want to race anywhere else just because, it'd be nice to give back, I always do enjoy Raceway. I'm not sure what's happening at Park. I might try going over there I don't really know what they got going on this year for running or if they're going to run or if hobby stocks are welcome there or not. I'm not real sure what they have there, but hopefully I can make some pretty good improvements with my driving in 2022. Just really depends on what my results are like. If I seem to be having more mid-pack battles than back of the pack battles, maybe I'll start pulling cards for where you place, I might not just always elect to start in the back if I feel comfortable with it, but if I don't, then I'm just going to party in the back.
And nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, it sounds like next year's going to be a blast indeed, just like this year was. And I don't know, with the 007 deal, if we see rockets on the car or rockets coming out of the car, then I might be a little bit worried. But I mean, that just keeps the action alive.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Absolutely. Well, Robby, it's been fun chatting with you, man. Greatly appreciate you coming on the show, and good luck in 2021. Oh,
yeah. Thanks a lot, man. I'd love to come back to the show, whatever we got to do. And, just anytime you guys want somebody as a guest, I'm always down to do it.
Absolutely, man. It was fun having you on. Thanks for talking with us.
Yep, no problem. We'll see you guys later.
All righty.
So once again, Robby Blundell, driver of the 007 Robby Stock. And, dude, this guy is, like we said, role model material, but just an awesome person all the way around.
A great stand-up guy.
Yes. A great stand-up guy. That was perfect. That was perfect. So be sure to look for Robby at the new Raceway Park in 2021 in the 007 Robby Stock. So we're going to take another quick break here from the Sodak iRacing Series. And on the other side of the break, we're going to talk with Phil Mckee. Stay tuned.
The Sodak iRacing League is the premier iRacing league for drivers, crew members, fans, and sponsors in the tri-state area around South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota. From street stocks to super late models, modifieds to sprint cars, the Sodak iRacing League does them all. You can follow all of their seasons live and free on Advantage Racing TV. For more information, look for Sodak iRacing on Facebook or join the league by searching for Sodak under the Leagues tab on your iRacing account.
So back here with the Announcers Booth podcast presented by Rapid Graphics, and yes, the Sodak iRacing Series. Glad to say another season coming in just a few weeks in November. 10-week schedule. Troy does an amazing job at not producing, but managing this and coming up with races. Him and the other guys there that do the practice runs to make sure the track and car combination is great. Last year, 9 different winners in 11 races. And, it's going to be a great 10-week schedule coming up here for the Sodak iRacing Series. I believe, Evan, you and I have a little ad read going on in that series as well. So be sure to watch for that. Just search on Facebook Sodak iRacing Series. And, yes, follow along with them, and then 10-week schedule coming up in just a few weeks. So we're going to talk to another guy here, another racer from the new Raceway Park, and he is one of the Racers for Autism representatives. That would be Phil Mckee, driver of the 12M, excuse me. And we actually recorded this live at the new Raceway Park when we were there just a few weeks ago, Evan. And this guy's got some great stuff as well.
Yes, he does.
And he also said one of his motivators is his wife and kids. And, yeah, Rebecca and the girls there definitely motivate him to not give up each and every week and to make sure that 12M car stays on the track. So without further ado, here is the interview with driver of the 12M, Mr. Phil Mckee. So back here on the Announcer's Booth podcast presented by Rapid Graphics, and making his way into the booth now, hobby stock driver of the new Raceway Park from the Sioux City area, Phil Mckee, driver of the 12M. And Phil, I gotta say that car gets faster and faster each and every week, man. What's been going on?
It's been kind of an up and down year for us, and we just little things at a time, and we'll get there.
Little things at a time, and yeah, that seems to be a theme with hobby stocks. Just small adjustments, big difference.
Yeah, I learned not to make a lot of big changes at one time because you never know what works.
Exactly. So you're running hobby stock. Have you run any other classes, or how did you get into racing in that 12M car?
I told my wife, it was 7 years ago now. I guess 8, but we started in the compacts and just kind of liked that class a little bit. And then my dad said, hey, let's go buy a hobby stock. So that's where we're at now.
Just like the difference, though, from like, and I know, Evan, you can vouch for this too, but going from the compact to the hobby stock, you basically got to relearn just about everything.
Yeah, totally everything.
Everything from the Sport Compact, throw it out the window.
Exactly. Sometimes I still get that mentality in the car.
I know exactly what you mean.
Hammer the gas, and it don't work.
Hammer the gas, and we're going a little more slideways in the corner than we wanted to. But no, what was the biggest change, though, going from that front-wheel drive to that rear-wheel drive?
Just the gas pedal is your friend in these rear-wheel drive cars.
It sometimes can be your enemy, too. But
yeah. And the brakes, you got to have those.
And especially with like the new Raceway Park, it's a different style track than what most tracks around here are. You know, a tight bull ring, really progressive banking, and just what makes this place so fun to race at?
This is the only track I've ever really raced at. I mean, I've raced up in Minnesota a few times, but it's our home track, and kind of have fun coming here. Just tear a lot of stuff up sometimes.
Yeah, it can be like that, especially with like the small tight bull rings. But I know the one thing that I've told people when they first like race here, turn 3 is a lot more banked than what you think.
Yeah, it is. And lately the track's been kind of an off track compared to what it usually is. It's a little slicker than most, but we make it work.
Make it work indeed. And I know last night had to run a B feature. Unfortunately, could not transfer to the A. So what are we looking forward to tonight? Are we going to try to transfer the A tonight? Or?
Oh, yeah, we're going to try. We did a couple changes to the car, and hopefully that works a little bit better.
Exactly. You know, these hobby stocks, it seems to be like, you know, the hobby stocks were on the rise here over the past few seasons. What makes them so much fun to drive?
They're definitely a handful at times. I will say that.
But the competition, though, it just seems to be next to none. Just especially here at the new Raceway Park, you got so many guys behind the wheel.
Guys around here, and they've been doing it for a long time. So someone like me, I always go up and, hey, what can I do to make this better or that better, and just take some words of advice from other guys and get us going in the right direction.
Go in the right direction indeed. And, you know, sometimes I know we talked with Tyler Smith on a prior episode about this too, is that, you know, sometimes you just have to pray and wing it and see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's what we're doing tonight. We're just trying something a little different, and hopefully it works. If not, we'll go back to the original.
That's where my phrase pour and pray comes in.
Yes.
It's more than
does.
just water drinking in a helmet. It's with about anything.
Yes. Hashtag pour and praise. So looking forward here, Phil. What can we expect moving forward, especially coming in 2022 with the 12M car?
Not quite sure. We talked about moving up class. Not sure what we're going to do quite yet, but we'll keep everybody informed.
I know one thing you'd be looking forward towards next year, too, is part of the group that you and your wife, Rebecca, are a part of, the Racers for Autism group. And what has that experience been like and with raising awareness here, not only locally, but just about everywhere else, too?
It's been different. I mean, she asked me about it, to getting into it, involved in it. And I'm like, yeah, why not? I mean, it seems like a pretty good group of guys, and everybody's real nice. And we all get along, and it's a fun time.
Fun time indeed, and I know they were talking about possibly a end of the season party. I know we're still trying to figure out some stuff with that, but just being part of the group and raising awareness one lap at a time. You got the racing family, but then you got the family inside of the racing family, and just how does that all tie together? Especially, I know with the wife and kids being a part of it too.
It's pretty good. I mean, my kids help me out with the car. My wife helps me. We try to keep it as a family thing and have fun with it.
It's a beautiful thing when family comes together, especially the racing family.
Amen to that.
Amen to that, indeed. So once again, Phil Mckee down here, the 12M Hobby Stock driver. And Phil, good luck tonight here for night number 2, and we'll hopefully see you out there.
Yeah, thank you.
So once again, that was the interview with Phil Mckee, driver of the I want to say 5
Why
for
do you keep
some
saying
reason.
5?
I don't know. Driver of the 12M Hobby Stock, right there out of Sioux City, Iowa. And, Phil, he's still learning in the hobby stock, getting better each and every week, just like Robby is. And, I see both of those guys have great careers yet to come in this racing.
Yes, they do. Just the willpower, willpower.
The wheel power.
There you go. That keeps pushing them forward week after week.
Absolutely. Couldn't be a better topic of discussion today and motivation than those two guys right there.
Absolutely.
We're going to take another quick break here from Advantage Racing TV and AOK Photography and Design, and we'll be back with upcoming events and closing thoughts right around the corner.
Advantage Racing TV is your source for local entertainment in the tri-state area. From compacts to late models and sprint cars, Advantage Racing TV has just what you need to cure your racing ailments. Check them out online at www.advantageracing.tv and take advantage of your racing addiction.
AOK Photography and Design is the place for all your photo needs. AOK does racing hero cards, blankets, canvas, racing sponsor photos, as well as other personalized items. Located out of Montevideo, Minnesota, they can get what you need at an affordable price. Check them out on Facebook for more information, and you'll find that their guaranteed service is AOK.
Once again, back here with the Announcement Booth podcast presented by Rapid Graphics. And yes, Advantage Racing TV produces a great product everywhere they go. Also affiliates of IMCA TV and Speed Sport TV as well. Be sure to check them out online, www.advantageracing.tv, and on Facebook for where they're going to be at next. And cannot say enough about AOK Photography and Design out of Montevideo. Alex does a great job. Some of the pictures that he took over at Raceway Park for the South Dakota Nationals, just amazing. So he travels all over the place a little bit in that region, and he does some great stuff.
He really does.
So with that being said, cannot thank you guys enough for tuning in. Motivation was the topic of discussion today, and you and I have had some pretty rough nights as well, but, what kept us motivated to be in there, like you said, was the kids for me, race fans and family. And it's just about, getting on that track when you really don't want to, but once you do, it's the best feeling in the world.
It really is. You get in that car, pull on the track, everything's gone.
All the
You're
worries.
at peace.
Yep.
Worries are gone. Nothing else. You don't have time to think. It's all reaction.
It's all reaction, and it's like you said, even in the midst of all chaos, you just find peace, like you said.
Oh, 100%.
100% indeed, and cannot thank you, the race fans, enough as well for the motivation that keeps us going here each and every week on the show. Cannot thank you guys enough, and yes, you, 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 you guys are awesome. We greatly appreciate you.
We appreciate you greatly.
So once again, that'll do it here for this episode of the Announcers Booth podcast. For Scotty Tuhati and Evan Pornprey, we would like to thank Robby Blundell and Phil Mckee for being on the show today. Also got to say a big thank you to Matthew Broadus, as well as Jerry Van Sickle and Sean Neisted for helping out with the show. And Evan, it's been great sitting here chatting with you, man, and interviewing some great guests as well.
It has been a fun one.
And it's definitely going to keep us motivated to bring back another show next week.
It sure will. Have a good week, everybody.
Absolutely. So be sure to stay tuned to all of our socials, the Announcers Booth Podcast on Facebook and Announcers Booth Podcast as well on TikTok and Twitter as well. Forgot to mention that one earlier. And to you, the race fans, thank you for tuning in each and every week. We hope to see you back again next week for another episode of the Announcers Booth Podcast. Take care.